Hello and welcome to the Sideline Live podcast. My name is Orla Keeling and I am the host of the podcast, where every week we bring you a brand new episode with guests ranging from Olympic champions to local heroes, coaches, support staff and anybody involved in the world of sport. Each week we will dive into different topics, including current affairs in sport, identity, skill, mindset, coaching, and also shine a light on those flying under the radar. So tune in every week for brand new episodes, new stories, and new insights you've never heard before. Okay, delighted to be joined by Mr. CJ Fulton. CJ, a busy couple of months. How many thousands of air miles have you rocked up in the last while?
It's been a good lot, yeah, couldn't even tell you, but I've been traveling all over the place. It's been pretty hectic.
How have you found the last while? Have you taken kind of stock of what it's been? Are you still in the mad rush of it all?
Yeah, I've been back home for a few weeks now, so I've had a bit of time to kind of reflect, but it's still a bit surreal to me. I'm still kind of coming to terms with everything.
It's probably something that won't hit you for a while, the kind of madness of just how it all came about. Like we spoke before about it all just kind of not came out of nowhere, but it was very quick moving.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could say it came out of nowhere. I was actually out in LA with some of my friends, just kind of taking a trip after the season, almost just on vacation mode. And then it was out there that I got a text from my agent saying the Timberwolves want to work you out. So I was like, right, okay. And then a few days later, I was in Minnesota doing that draft workout, and then since then, it's just been mental.
Where did you watch the draft? And like, was there any feeling going into it? Like, you know, did it kind of hit you at that moment that, look, tonight I might not get called, but there might be stuff after this?
Yeah, I knew the draft was kind of out of the picture for me, but the feedback I got from my draft workout in Minnesota was good. So I knew there might have been a chance at a summer league spot. They had kind of mentioned that after the workout, but I still wasn't too sure what was going to happen. But I was back home when the draft was taking place, so I found out kind of late that night, next morning, that I was going to be heading back out there for the summer league.
What is an NBA workout like? Talk us through from getting the call to actually doing the workout. Like, is there a couple of days in between? Is it very quick?
Yeah, so I was out in LA. I got back to Charleston, and then I had about a day or two to really kind of lock in and prepare before going up to Minnesota. So I was kind of didn't know what to expect at all. But got there, flew me out. You go to dinner and all the night before, kind of just meet the other guys here working out, meet the coaches, and then the workout itself is a lot of competing, like a lot of 3-on-3, 1-on-1. It kind of varies team to team. Like you hear, just talking to the other players who'd done other workouts, they were kind of comparing their workouts and seeing what players were in their workouts and stuff. But for us, it was just a lot of 3-on-3, a lot of playing. I know other teams have some more like fitness elements to it, but for us, it was only about an hour, I'd say. Kind of start off with skill work, finishing around the basket. You'll have a few shooting drills in there, and then just a lot of playing.
Isn't it the Miami Heat or is there training camp where they just run the legs off them?
Probably, yeah. That sounds right. But for the Heat, yeah.
When you talk just those 2 days where you had to just lock in just to prepare for an NBA workout as you do, like what do you do what do you think about when you know this is coming up?
I was getting two or three workouts in those days, but like it just came out of nowhere, and it's weird. Like normally, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I still do. But going into that workout, I was pretty relaxed just because I was like, it's house money. Like I didn't think I would be here. Maybe that's why the workout went well for me, just because I wasn't overthinking anything. I was just like, right, I'm here now. I might as well just give it a shot and see what happens. But I didn't know, like, I honestly didn't know who was going to be there, what to expect. Um, Going to dinner that night, I was kind of walking through the hotel lobby and I just saw Danny Wolf and Ryan Kalkbrenner. Danny Wolf was a first round pick, played at Michigan. Kalkbrenner's like a 7-2 big from Creighton, was one of the best players in the Big East this year. So I was like, right, so this is a legit workout.
Is that when you say the pressure that you put on yourself? Where does that come from?
I don't know, just probably one of the wanting to succeed and be the best I can be, and then probably more like my mom in that sense. My dad's a bit more relaxed. My mom's a bit more of a warrior. So um, yeah,
Okay, and when you see those two lads and you get given gear probably for the workout, do you kind of realize, right? Okay, this is kind of it. Like lights are on. Here we go.
yeah, kind of like they had a. Thankfully, we didn't do too many fitness tests like vertical jump and stuff. That would have been a bit humbling, but uh, um, yeah, just getting rid of the other lads. They're all cool to be fair. I thought 1 and 2, I thought they might have been a bit too big time for me, but they're all sound, and yeah, like we were all just getting ready and we were warming up with one of the strength and conditioning coaches, and yeah, he said a line that kind of just calmed me down. He was like, "We're just here to get better today. If you get better today, then you've done your job." And that kind of just I was like, right, let's just go enjoy the workout and compete. So
Brilliant. That's a great line. I'm impressed you've kept the accent.
see the accent's been there. It definitely gets worse when I'm out in America and I've got some sliding for it, but I've been back a few weeks now, so that's starting to get more and more Belfast, which is good.
Good, good. When you're chatting to the other lads, what's the perception like when you say I'm from Ireland, I'm from Belfast? Is there kind of, if I've heard it, I've asked kind of all the guys or girls that are over there, they say, oh, I didn't even know they play basketball in Ireland. What's the conversation like when you're preparing for an NBA workout or just after?
Yeah, they're kind of just like, wow, you're from Ireland, like surprised, and probably because of the accent, they uh they can't really pick up on the fact I'm from Ireland at first, just because I sound a wee bit more American over there, unfortunately, and it's a Belfast accent, not like a Cork or Kerry accent where it's very obvious. So but yeah, they're all kind of surprised when I tell them that, and just asking questions about the basketball here and that kind of stuff.
Very good. When you're in the middle of the workout, you said it's going well. What's your self talk like in a workout for an NBA team?
Um, I was just trying to kind of be vocal, make sure I was competing. A self talk is still something I'm working on the mental side of things, but I treated it that well, to be honest, in the workout. Trying to adjust to the NBA 3-point line, and the ball and stuff. But I was just doing other stuff well. Kind of just trying to be the best version of myself, not doing things that were outside of what I usually do. So
Mm. Well, how do you deal with that? Like you hear about shooters talking about shooting slumps. I loved when Duncan Robinson and JJ Redick spoke about it on their podcast a couple of years ago about it. When the shot isn't falling for you, what do you do?
uh, just do other stuff to help the team win, or in this case, just do other stuff to try and separate yourself, whether that's just bringing energy or getting to the basket. Like it's not that I shot it badly. It's just going into that workout, one of the things was right, if we get a few shooting drills, I can really get hot and kind of show that I'm a knockdown 3-point shooter. That would kind of stand out, but that just didn't happen on the day. But um, it worked out okay, thankfully.
Did you find you had a second workout then with Denver? I know the Timberwolves picked you up for the summer league though, but did you find that you were more settled for the second one?
Yeah, kind of just had a better idea of what to expect going in. A lot of the Denver workout was kind of more guys kind of in my kind of scenario where they had only a couple of workouts or hadn't had a workout before. Probably wasn't just going like looking at the names on paper. You wouldn't say it was as big of a workout as the Timberwolves one was, but there's still a lot of talent there, and it was a similar style workout as well, just 1-on-1, 3-on-3 kind of thing.
Very good. And then the call comes for the summer league. Talk us through. Is that like where are you at the time? You're back in Charleston. You're actually back in Belfast. Sorry, is it?
Yeah, I was back home in Belfast. Yeah.
What's that like? Do you get a private jet or a chartered or how does it work?
Well, yeah, they flew me out first class, so that was an experience. Didn't really know what to do. I was trying to work out all the buttons for the food trays and the seats and stuff. People were looking at me like, "You sure you belong here in first class?" I was like, "Not really, but I'm just gonna go with it." So yeah, no, I was back here kind of I was up late enough that night just kind of seeing what the crack was after the draft, and then um got a text from my agent saying I was going to be heading out to the summer league, and then I woke up the next day. I saw that video of Tim Connolly, on Twitter saying trying to get the Irish kids. So that was a bit wild waking up to that, but it was cool.
One of my favorite parts about this whole story, obviously, it's such a big story for Irish basketball, but for it to be one of the Fultons, like a name that's so synonymous with Irish basketball, like with the legacy of your dad and your granddad, like this just to me is just, and everything I documented the page, a lot of it is about family and sport. I just love it, fascinated by it. How special is that to be such a name in Irish basketball and then to be part of this really big story?
Yeah, no, it's really special. They've supported me the whole way up, and I've just been around them teaching the game and coaching the game my whole life. So um, they're both really big inspirations for me, and yeah, it's great to kind of just add to the legacy, I guess.
You've won over your dad anyway. He didn't get an NBA look.
No, I didn't, but he's like it's funny just talking to him about all the other stuff. Like he I'd obviously at Duke my first year played against Paulo Banchero, number one pick, and then he was like, yeah, I played against Iverson. He was the number one pick as well. So I was like, right, okay, fair enough. So he still got a good resume himself.
Yeah. That was one of the things, actually. I think it was the Belfast Telegraph. Your dad did an interview a couple of weeks ago about the conversation that you had about going to America. And I think you said to him, but you didn't go. And he said, you're better than me, or better than I was. So this nearly, like, you nearly didn't go to America.
Yeah, it was funny. I was like I said, I was listening back to the podcast we did. Was that 5 years ago now, which is hard to believe, and it's funny just listening back to that and all of the kind of memories that yeah you forget a little bit. But yeah, it wasn't until COVID really hit in the last few months of school at Summerleague where I was like, right, what am I going to do here? So it's kind of crazy looking back at that now and thinking that I wasn't too sure whether I wanted to go over there in the first place, but um, definitely glad I did, and it's worked out so far.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was going through, I think I shared a couple of weeks on the page what since we had last talked. And since we've spoken, you played 2 years at Lafayette, where you played against Paolo Banchero at Duke, obviously in Cameron. You also played against Syracuse at Syracuse. You then transferred to College Charleston, made the NCAA tournament, 500 career assists. I can't remember how many points you've scored. It's been too many. A couple of all kind of conference teams, also all conference scholar of the year. Like it could it have gone much better?
Um, Me being me, I would say yeah, it could have been a bit better, but that's just me. Not like if you had said that for me going out to America and achieved what I've achieved, and having the experience that I've had, I wouldn't have believed you. Like you hear a lot of stories about, especially people from Europe going over to the States and it just not working out for them. They're home in a few months or get much playing time. It's really hard for them. So um, to have the 4 years that I had in college, no, it couldn't really have gone much better. It was an amazing experience for me.
Was the dream then when you were growing up in Belfast, was it to go to America, or was that kind of the COVID piece that accelerated that dream, or kind of where did that come from?
Yeah, it was kind of just COVID. We weren't too sure what was going to happen here with the season, and we had just won the Super League, so it's kind of like right, I've won a trophy this star. I can maybe kind of if I really want to keep getting better, America's probably the place to do it. So that was it. I went to Winchendon for a year. Only got about 5 games that season because of COVID, but was able to get one Division 1 scholarship offer out of it. Took it, and now I'm here.
How much did the likes of the Super League and also like the Belfast Classic took place. I think it was 2018 or was it 2018 in Belfast. Like the kind of awareness of college basketball, but also playing in the Super League. How much has that influenced your career to date?
Um, yeah, I always kind of followed college basketball. Not like I didn't know a whole lot about it. Like obviously I know a lot much more about how it really works now. But back then I was still watching the March Madness tournament with my like filling out the brackets with my granddad and doing all that stuff. But yeah, so I always kind of followed it, but didn't really know what the deal was in terms of the practices and how intense it was. But Super League definitely helped to prepare me for that, just making the jump from underage basketball to that and the physicality and stuff. Since then, it's just been keep trying to improve. Um, yeah,
In terms of jumping from the levels, like you played underage international, Super League, obviously, prep Division One at Lafayette, Charleston, Irish senior men's team, and now NBA Summer League. Like, talk us through the adjustments. Like, what are the gaps? What are the differences between when you jump levels?
yeah. Definitely. When I made the jump to the Super League, I think I was 16, so the physicality was definitely the main part. I would say. Skill wise, I was fine. I was just dealing with playing with grown men, and then going over to the States at Winchendon, it was more the speed, um, the athleticism, and then that's kind of I guess the higher up you go in college. I feel like there's a lot of skilled players at lower level or mid-major Division One schools, and even Division Two and Division Three. There's a lot of really talented players, but just the size and the athleticism, the length, and then obviously going to NBA, that's just a whole different level. There's some of the best athletes in the world. So just trying to make that adjustment. Like I've been pretty good throughout my career adjusting to different things. Like I had four different head coaches my 4 years of college, so I'm kind of used to uh, having to switch things up and find out what works and what doesn't. So
Yeah, because at every level you've managed to just go in and be yourself and just adapt really quickly. What in your game allows you to do that? Like that's remarkable.
I think it's just the kind of player I am. It's just like I'm gonna no matter who I'm kind of going up against or who my teammates are. Like I've always find that the better the competition, the better I kind of am, just because I'm able to play off guys and playing alongside better players kind of elevates my game as well, and I can make them look good as well. So I think it's just probably my style of play is definitely one part of my game that helps me make that adjustment.
How would you describe your style of play?
Just pass first, high IQ, you know, can score, but that's not really what he's looking to do first option. But can score when necessary and gets his teammates open, gives guys the ball, gets guys the ball where they want it. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. IQ. I asked a couple people for questions. This came up. Where does your IQ come from? Because it's a joy watching you play. It's like you're just the the director of the orchestra. That's a conductor. I said the wrong word there.
So you can edit that out too. Just I was just like I said, he was kind of that same style of player and just being coached by him for what 23 years now. So I'd say that's probably where it comes from.
Was it always part of your game then, or was it something that you had to work on together?
Yeah, no, that's one part of my game that's always just came naturally to me.
And how do you work on it for someone listening that doesn't have it? How do you work on it?
Uh, Tough question for me because I haven't really like it's not like I've done really any drills to kind of work on it, but just getting in situations in practice where you have to work on your decision making, watching a lot of film, seeing what the right reads are, yeah, that kind of thing.
Very good. What's your biggest strength, CJ, in your game? Without giving it away for all the scouters, but
I would probably say that my IQ and my passing, I would say.
and do you think like when you is that like we were saying? the better the players you're around, the easier you find it because you can kind of read off each other. Again, that same high IQ level. Is that kind of what you were saying?
Yeah, like I think just like being able to make reads and if you're gonna like put against better athletes and stuff, you can say I'm coming off a ball screen playing underage in Ireland is a lot different than me coming up off a ball screen in the NBA or in whatever it's like college basketball. I can throw a lob, hit the roller, skip to the court, like all those different options. So yeah, it's just kind of being able to adjust with each level, and so that's one thing I've done well throughout my career.
Give us an insight when you're in Belfast as a teenager and you're working on your game. Like, talk us through your schedule, drills, what you're doing. I'm just conscious there's probably kids listening that are around 15, 16, 17 that have high aspirations. Give us an insight into the level of training that you did at that age.
Yeah, at what age, like 15, 16?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so at that stage I was kind of just focusing mainly on basketball. I played football, I played Gaelic, all the way through, and I was probably still playing a bit of both for school and stuff, but basketball had kind of taken over by that stage. So I could have one or two team practices a day. It just kind of depend on schedule with schools basketball, club basketball, Super League. So I was practicing nonstop, and then with all that like all the practicing going on, you have to still find time for yourself individually. So it might have just been for me like quick 40, 45 minute sessions, just getting a lot of shots in, um, ball handling, like a lot of finishing around the rim. Just kind of making sure I was getting those daily vitamins alongside my other practices.
What do you think is the most underrated skill in the game or something that we don't do in Ireland that you need?
I would put passing up there. I think I said that in the last podcast. Passing and coaching, like coaching the last couple of weeks at Rip and Run and the camp up here, I would say like footwork and balance. I just like you see a lot of kids kind of not under control, out of control. Whether it's going to the rim or whenever they face a bit of pressure, they kind of panic and um, just lose their footing a bit. So I would say those are two other skills that I would definitely emphasize for growing up.
Is there anything that you worked on, like trying to think like that you learned, let's say even in Super League, that you've managed to that's really stuck with you throughout your career and paid off in the long run?
Uh, um, I think whenever I've gone into games aggressive and looking to score, I think that's when I play at my best. Like it's happened a few times throughout my career where I've kind of whether it's just kind of getting used to a new team or new scenario, kind of a bit more tentative, trying to figure things out and bringing out my teammates, like worrying about what they're thinking rather than just going out and playing loose and being aggressive. So I think going into the Super League, I had a really good first couple of games in the preseason that kind of settled me down and just allowed me to go and not worry about it. So I think yeah, being aggressive coming out the gates, that's usually when I'm at my best. So I've done more work in the last few months to try and have that mindset going into every game.
In terms of adapting, and maybe it's why you're so good at it. When you had four college coaches across 4 years, like I actually didn't realize it was four. I thought it was three. Like that's a lot of change every season.
Yeah, yeah. So first year, under Lafayette, then Coach O'Hanlon retired, had a new coach at Lafayette. For my sophomore year, transferred to Charleston. Coach Kelsey left after my junior year, and then Coach Mack came in. So yeah, four different coaches, four different personalities, styles of play. So I was just kind of being the best version of me, but trying to figure out what they liked, what they wanted from me, and figuring that out as well.
Do you think, like, trying to, as a point guard and getting settled into that, again, your IQ, probably your personality plays a lot into that. You're quite, I'd say, probably easygoing, you're quiet enough, just kind of do what needs to be done style.
Yeah, I think just being coachable is one of the biggest things I look for. matter how good you are, if a different coach is coming in and doesn't like your attitude, he's not going to play you. So definitely making an effort to get to know the coach and listening, being coachable, being likable, all that stuff definitely goes into like him trusting you and giving you time on the court.
When you talk about your freshman season, just when you go and play against like Paolo Banchero, #1 pick in the draft, Cameron Indoor, when do you find that you're settling in, or do you settle in and realize, right, I'm here and I belong here?
Yeah, that's a question I'm still kind of battling with myself. Just going into the summer league, I'm like a little bit surreal, and I'm like gotta remind myself that they brought me here for a reason. But yeah, going into that game against Duke, I was just kind of enjoying the experience. To be honest, I wasn't really, and like I said, maybe that's why I had a decent enough game against Duke, just because I wasn't really. I was like, I never thought I'd be here, so let's just go and enjoy it. The atmosphere was unreal. One of my best mates from Smalachy's played football there, so
Oh yeah.
he was at the game going crazy, and yeah, it was just mad to think like going back into that game. I was kind of just like didn't think I'd be here, and I 5 years on or 4 years on, whatever. I'm in a position where those are the kind of guys that I'm competing against on a regular basis.
Is that Lewis McGarvey?
Lewis McGarvey, yeah.
Yeah, he did a takeover actually. He was probably the only Duke student that was up for Lafayette that game, I'd say.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Wait, in terms of the players you've come up against during your college career, who was the best that we might not know about?
I don't know, but it's tough. There's been a lot of really good players. Paulo Banchero is probably the biggest name, obviously the #1 pick in the draft that year. Yeah, we played Florida in a preseason scrimmage this year. Walter Clayton and Elijah Martin. Will Richard, that was probably one of the best backcourts in the country this year. But all the way through, like even in practice, the last 2 years, especially at Charleston, like I've gone up against some guys who've been really, really tough to guard.
Good. Speaking of Lafayette, that's where you came into contact with Mr. Neil Quinn, who's been on the podcast, and obviously
Here,
you're Irish.
you have to just call me now. Will we answer something?
Yeah, go on.
You want to join the podcast here, Neil?
Neil, I was about to ask your question.
My question's come up yet?
Will I ask him now? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, go on.
CJ, how did you blow up Neil's
well, he's
house
got
or
to say
something?
something about one-on-one, isn't it?
Oh, he said that as well, but what's the thing where you blow up his house or something?
Oh, yeah. I was trying to make something for myself and didn't think the oven was on. Turned out it was on, and nearly blew up the house. But
I have a gas stove, and I would.
I can't hear him. Sorry, Neil.
Dude, can't hear you. Can't hear you. He's saying, yeah. I was trying to make tea. It was a gas stove, and I didn't know the oven was on, so I nearly blew up the house. But it worked. It smelled like, yeah. He was in the shower, came out, smelled like gas, but
Oh God.
worked out all right. My God, really good for not having the kennel on standby for me.
It was in the drawer.
Who puts their kettle in a drawer?
Man, this is America, man. I don't know.
Did Neil have barriers or lines in his house? That's what I want to know.
I don't think you do. Did you have barriers or lions?
What did he say?
Says it was his American mom's house. So yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. Well, I'll call you back here.
All right, see ya.
See you, Neil. What was he saying there?
He was just chatting like he always is.
His other question was, ask him who wins in one-on-ones, and then I appreciate the sunglasses.
Yeah, I left my sunglasses there, and he says he's keeping them. So I don't think I'll see those again. And then the one-on-ones, he's definitely winning the all-time record. But on my most recent trip to New Jersey, we split the series. I won one and he won one. And they also tried to cheat me out of the game as well. So you can put that in.
What's it like though? Like the two of yous being at Lafayette together. Now I know he went to Richmond. Now you've gone on your own path as well, but kind of linking up with the Irish team, and also now he's obviously signed a contract with the top French league, and you're doing your thing in the NBA. Like that must be pretty cool going from freshman as Lafayette.
Yeah, no, he's ever since I got to Lafayette, he kind of helped me out a lot, and he probably sees himself as my big brother. I don't really see it that way, but no, he's helped me out a lot, and he's obviously he had a great college career, and he's been a big help with the senior men's team as well. So going pro, he's only going to get better as well.
Yeah. How did you find it? Like after your 2 years at Lafayette, you went to Charleston. What was the kind of obviously I'm assuming the coaching change and stuff like that contributed to the decision, but in terms of the recruiting process as a transfer, like that must be interesting.
Yeah, it was a bit hectic. Like those, as soon as you enter the portal, your name's there, your phone's just you're getting calls and texts from coaches and setting up Zoom meetings and setting up visits. So it was a hectic few weeks, and by the end of it, I was just excited to make a decision. But yeah, went on a few visits, Richmond being one of them. So Neil wasn't very happy with me when I chose Charleston, but I went down there on my visit and had a really good year the year before, and loved the city, loved the coaching staff. So that's who I ended up going with.
Because your tagline was "This is our city," isn't it?
That was PK's tagline, yeah, our city. He's gone up to Louisville now, so it's the revival is the new tagline. But PK at all the marketing side of things, he's really good at that.
Yeah. How did you find it in terms of moving conference? Like, give us an insight going from the Patriot League to CAA.
Out of all the adjustments I've made, that was probably the toughest one, to be honest. And it was just like the standards set in practice. Like I've always worked hard, but just being in that culture, like it was, the practices were really hard. You're competing against each other every day. We were lifting 5 times a week with, Eli was our strength coach. He's really good, but I wasn't used to pushing the weight that we were. So it was just first summer I got there, it was just like a real culture shock to me. But I kind of struggled early on there and got better as the year went on. But definitely learned a lot of lessons just basketball and non-basketball just during that year. Just yeah, like I said, the culture there, like there's a reason that PK and his staff have been so successful.
In terms of players wise, the difference between the Patriot League and that conference that you moved to, like, is what's the gap in the jump there?
Yeah, I think like there's really good league, and like especially with the portal now, a lot of teams or a lot of players from those kind of leagues are looking to make a jump up as well. So and then you've got players from high majors that are coming down to the mid major level. So it's a really good level. Like if you look at our team from that year, Ryan was in the summer league with me. Ante was in the summer league. Two other guys ended up going to Louisville. The year after, one guy went to Virginia Tech. Loads of other guys have had really good college careers. So it was a pretty loaded roster, and it was definitely an adjustment for me, kind of going in and you know expecting to be the transfer, like the transfer point guard coming in, running the show. So I think part of it was just me probably worrying too much about what the players and what other guys were thinking about me, rather than just going in and playing and not worrying about that kind of thing. But yeah, worked out well in the end, and won the championship. Got to go to March Madness, so it was a really fun year.
What's it like being in March Madness after watching it and filling out brackets with your granddad?
It was crazy. You had to, they fly you out on a private jet. You get all the gear and stuff, and yeah, just a really cool experience to be a part of. Like you're sitting there on selection Sunday, watching the teams and get like the brackets, seeing who's playing who. So yeah, it was really cool.
There was another question that I had put in. What's it like going in private jets versus Bruno's bus?
Bruno's fun.
What is
Uh,
that?
Bruno was our bus driver for Shamalkis. So he was all the trips down to the arena, he would be taking us and looking after us. So private jets are great, but nothing can compare to the legend that is Bruno on his bus.
In terms of then, you said like coming in and running the show. Well, you're just being humble enough, but you led the country in assist to turnover ratio. I didn't even know that was not gonna lie, I didn't know that was a stat till you led it. What was that like?
Yeah, no, it was good. I think I led the country my freshman year, and then did again my junior year. And then I was second this year, I think, which I think funny enough, the best ratio I had was this year, but ended up coming second. But that was kind of the role on my team that year, especially just in so many scores on the team, so much talent. I was just um, keep the offense flowing and make good decisions.
Who called you to tell you you've led the nation in a statistical category?
I think it was our SID, like our sports information director, the person that does all the social media stuff and writes all the game reports and all that. So she was keeping an eye on it throughout the season with the NCAA website, and they have all the stats on there. So it was her that told me about it.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. In terms of then, I want to ask about your skill now. What do you think you've most improved on since going to America?
I think I've definitely taken in stride or yeah, taken steps defensively. I've got better in that area. Still room for improvement, of course, but just like watching. If I was to go back now and watch a few games from back when I was playing here, or even my first year in college, I think um, that's one area of my game I've got better at.
Is there conversations in terms of, I'm trying to think like, obviously you've your team practices then in college, but from an individual point of view, how much is the individual balance within a team improvement in a college team?
Yeah, you're kind of expected to work out every day, really, by yourself, doing getting extra reps up, shooting, even if it's just before or after practice. But um, a lot of the time, it's just you go in the morning and like if you have a free period in between classes and stuff like that, you go in, get extra shots up, and just work on your game.
In terms of balancing other areas, you were obviously named your conference scholar of the year, excelling academically and also on the court. Like, not a lot of people would balance both or excel in both. How have you managed to find that balance?
Yeah, I've always kind of been a good student as well from some Malachy's and went through college. Like to be fair, my A levels and GCSEs here in Smalachy's were way harder than the work I was doing out in Charleston. So yeah, like I wouldn't read too much into that to be fair.
What was your degree in?
Political science, funny enough.
Okay, interesting. American politics, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you do a bit of everything, bit of American politics, international politics, political theory. So no idea what I'm going to do with that degree, but figure it out.
Yeah, well, you don't need it for the NBA anyway. I do. In terms of balancing sport and life. Like, there's obviously other things outside of basketball that you do as well. Just how do you balance like being an elite basketball player and training all the time and always looking to improve, but also being CJ off the court?
Yeah, I think just making sure you're getting time away from the game as well. Like it can be, especially when you're in it, it can be pretty, just like consume you. Just you're getting up, you're working out, you're coming back, you're like everything you do is just um, it's all for the goal of getting better and winning games. Individual accolades, whatever. So it's tough when your whole life almost is directed towards that. But yeah, it's just as important to get away from the game and find things outside of basketball that interest you, whether it's golf or just hanging out with your mates, whatever it is. So I think now they'll have more free time on my hands. Being a pro, obviously, no commitments with school and everything. That's going to be something I'm going to have to find like maybe I could become a really good chef. That would be. I'd love that. So I have to give that a go.
Yeah. What's your golf handicap? You'll have to start working on that.
Yeah, I would say it's about a generous. So, um, I
Sorry,
can.
that cut out. What's the number?
I'd say it's like a generous 18.
Okay. Respectable. College athlete.
Yeah, yeah, a generous 18. So we been out a few times in the last couple of weeks, and I'm able to get around. I'm not terrible, but still, hopefully by the end of my career, I'll move to the single digits.
CJ, how do you balance, passion and obsession? Because it's a sport that you love in terms of growing up and playing it, but now, in elite sport, it is an obsession. So how do you find the fun in it? The fun in it still?
Um, yeah, it can be tough because you know, like I said, everything you do is devoted to basketball and getting better. So even though the last few months have been really exciting for me in terms of summer league and a lot of support from back home, it's been tough because I've been the last few months all my focus has been on what I need to do better to play at this level and kind of am I good enough and this is what I got to do better and you do this and you do that. So all my training has been focused towards that, and I probably haven't allowed myself to kind of step back and reflect on what I've achieved. It's more just being geared towards you got to get better at this. So um, yeah, I've the pressure and the hard work. You definitely like it's a privilege, but I think you definitely need to enjoy it as well. So I think I'm just trying to work on it there and competing, but also making sure I'm having fun with it as well.
Mm. Well, it's hard when the sport that you play becomes your work, and you're working on it, and you're looking to get paid to play it. It's a different shift. It's a different mindset.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna have to adjust to that again ahead in my pro career, but it's a nicer problem to have.
Do you think the shift in the schedule as well, like being a college athlete, being so busy, academically, and then balancing basketball and not having that now as a pro, like how have you found that?
Yeah, yeah, it'll definitely be an adjustment. Um, and I'll have more time to do other stuff that I've kind of probably neglected a bit more, like mobility and stretching. I'm trying to make that more of an emphasis. My she's got a gymnastics background, so she's been helping me through all that. Um, yeah, just doing all that stuff to making sure you're doing all you can to prepare yourself for practices and games, but also, as I said, making sure you have a balance with other stuff you enjoy outside of basketball.
Yeah. You can go down to Reese there in his gym and do a few sessions with him before you go. I think I don't know where
Was it?
I don't know where Reese's gym is. Do you know the Reese McClelligan? I think he trains in Belfast now. You can go down to him and
Oh
get a
yeah,
few tips.
yeah. So my sisters went to the same gym that he was at. Don't know if he's still there at Salto, but that's where that's where he was trained at. But my sister do over there. So
Very good. Very
yeah,
good.
if I could get his physique and look like that, I'd be doing all right.
How have you found it? Like in terms of you're quite a quiet guy, you don't like kind of all the big lights and it doesn't help when I'm texting you looking for quotes and for pieces and stuff. But, being in the spotlight that you were in with the Summer League, how did you find that?
Yeah, I've kind of got better at it. Still prefer to just kind of keep a low profile, but also understanding, responsibility to help grow the game in Ireland and, you know, hand it forward as well. So I think just all the hype around the summer league and stuff and seeing the support from back home, that's definitely grateful for all that. And yeah, I can't just hide away from it. I gotta kind of show my gratitude and like I said, try and give back as much as I can.
I think one of the coolest things was, I don't know if you saw it, All Irish Sport, their Instagram page, put up a graphic of you and Alex Dunn. In the same week, he obviously went to do the practice race for the F1 and you got your contract. And I thought that was a big
Yeah,
moment. That was cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
What was the coolest moment for you overall?
With the summer league or with
Whatever, the last couple of months, what's been the coolest thing? Doesn't have to be NBA related.
good question. Like you're walking through Vegas is mental, but you're walking through there and Harry Irving and all these NBA stars are just out like walking alongside you, and you're just kind of what's going on. Um, Grant Alexander-Arnold and other Real Madrid players were there in Vegas, and yeah, it's mental. Like walking into finishing up a workout in Minnesota, walking into your locker room, and Anthony Edwards is just sitting there asking you, how's it going? Louis Randle, like Dante Davidson, it's just you're just trying to act normal, and then, even though you know it, you know yourself that it doesn't only happen or shouldn't happen for especially for people from Belfast, just growing up enjoying himself playing basketball. So yeah, he was just kind of like, let's say, how's it going? I'm CJ. He said, I'm Ant. What's up? I was just like, yeah, I know who you are, but I appreciate you. Yeah, you telling me that.
Yeah, that's cool. That shows kind of mutual respect there, I'd say.
Yeah, no, he was good. He was just chilling in the locker room with all the other lads. So yeah, no, he was sad.
What was it like before going to the Summer League? Talk us through preparing as a group and getting in together and putting on the Timberwolves practice kit.
Yeah, so we got in. First day was just kind of physicals and all that stuff, and then we had what we have 5 practices maybe before we went out there. Kind of um, 2 days for a couple of days, and then one practice before we flew out to Vegas that night. So just kind of everyone getting to know each other, trying to you know put in stuff in the short time we had together, offensive, defensive. Like a lot of them had been with the G League before and kind of knew what the deal was and knew the actions and how they wanted to play. Whereas I was kind of they would say a drill once, and I was kind of like, "Oh, how does this work?" And everyone else knew immediately what to do. So I was kind of just picking up stuff on the fly, and there's a lot of just learning on the go. So but it was good. It was a cool experience.
We were saying before we recorded it was a bit different to what you're used to in terms of the practices and what they do. It's a bit looser, maybe.
Yeah, just a bit more relaxed than college, where I was used to, coaches really getting after you, and everything was, all the drills are down to a T. Whereas, not that it was casual or anything like that, but it's just everyone knew each other. Um, and then everyone kind of knew what the crack was. So it wasn't like college at all.
Is it true, first night in Las Vegas, you go to an Irish bar?
Oh yeah, you have to. Yeah. Um, yeah, my family came over and we were looking at different food spots and stuff, and there was an Irish bar, of course, just right down the road. So we are like, yep, it'll do us.
Was there ever a point where someone asked, "Oh, what are you doing in Vegas?" and you said, "I'm just playing the Summer League"? I know you're probably the type you wouldn't say it though, but was there ever at that point?
Uh, yeah, there was where like a few times I kind of mentioned it a few times. I was just like, I'm here with family. Just um, I actually had a funny interaction with a guy from the Suns. We obviously played like a lot of the teams stay together in Vegas, so he was kind of in some Suns gear. I had my Timberwolves gear on in the elevator in the hotel, and he was like, "You're with the Timberwolves?" So I was like, "Yeah, you're with the Suns." Yeah, we play each other in a few days. Cool, cool. He's like, "Yeah, I'm on the business side of things. What do you do? Are you like player operations or what's your role?" And I was just kind of like, I'm on the team." So he was like, "Oh, okay, good for you." I was like, "Yeah," but I was laughing with my dad, like watching the Last Dance documentary, and John Stockton was talking about how Jordan and Barkley and all these lads were getting swarmed at the Olympics in Barcelona, whereas Stockton was able to just kind of walk through the city with his family and no one noticed him. So it was kind of like that in a sense. You had all these guys getting stopped for photos, and I was just walking through the hotel, no bother. So,
How did you find that kind of? I call it the glitz and the glam of it all. Do you know, even like it's in Vegas of all places. Talk about glitz and glam, but like the Summer League is very glitzy and glammy. How did you find that? Like there's a lot of noise around it.
Yeah, there is. It was a bit surreal just being in the middle of all of it. Like the hotel was just 5-star, like luxury hotel, NBA stars everywhere, celebrities there. Um, there's a lot of money being thrown everywhere. So yeah, it was a bit surreal, but you just have to try and enjoy it as much as you
Yeah.
can.
I'm assuming you're not then asking for photos and stuff. That's not part of it.
No, unless there was maybe a Timberwolves diehard fan there, like um, a little kid came up and asked for a photo. But that was about it. They were more focused on Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr. and all those boys, which is fair enough.
Sorry, I actually meant you asking, like, you know, the the kind of more big celebrities, not just basketball, kind of the other big celebs, because a lot of, like, as you said, football players, rappers, random people pop up whenever.
Uh, yeah, yeah, I kind of just let them be. I thought they would be probably getting enough people asking them for photos and stuff, so I kind of just let them be. But definitely just acknowledge that they're there and they're like, oh wow, weird being in that environment where like everyone's almost in the NBA or high profile, and you're kind of just kind of act like you belong there.
Did you find it? Did you like? Can you see the pressure that people are under in that spotlight being there?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, just you know, people people following you everywhere and asking for photos, and um, so like a lot of guys have like Kyrie when I was walking through the hotel, like he had a bunch of guys around him, like his friends or security. So like I'm sure they're well looked after as well, but it is a different kind of pressure to whenever playing in the Super League or playing back here. Yeah.
The Irish Cougars didn't get over for a game, no.
They were trying to. They definitely talked about it, but it never made it out of the group chat, unfortunately. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see another trip abroad for them.
Yeah, will we see them storm an NBA media conference call?
I wouldn't be surprised if anyone can, it'll be them. They're celebrities in Charleston these days. Like we would be walking down the street and like the King Street is the main street in Charleston, and be walking down there and people didn't know who I was, but they knew all the lads. Their jerseys singing away.
Yeah, have the St. Malachy's replica jerseys been framed or replicated anywhere?
I think they still have them, unless I don't know if they give them back or not. Might be they might be holding on to them for forever. But um, yeah, no, that was great crack having them.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Come here, Andrew Dukowitz is a journalist over in America. He kept us all up to date. Fair play to Andrew. I was interacting with him a few times. Probably didn't realize like the Irish community, I think, just all started to follow him then, and he just given us CJ Fulton updates. How did you find going into the camp? Like he mentioned a couple of things about you being the son of a coach, and like even he shared photos of you being the last person coming out of the gym pretty much every practice, during the summer league. Like that's that's very impressive from yourself to have that mentality still at that level.
Yeah, just trying to make a good impression. Yeah, just trying to work hard. All the same stuff I kind of talked about with the coaching changes in college. Just trying to be coachable, be try and be as likable as possible, and getting to know the coaches and just asking them questions and show them that you're putting in the work. And obviously, part of that is just me trying to get better myself. Like it's not all like just trying to show the coaches and working hard. It's part of who I am, just getting in the gym, getting shots up. But yeah, just try to take advantage of having access to that facility and the coaches and all that.
I did want to ask, in terms of starting the summer league, you took you a couple of games to get in. Just what was that like? The conversations around that, and just your mentality of staying ready. When you weren't getting your opportunities.
Yeah, I kind of knew that would be the deal going in. Just wasn't really expecting to play too much in those first few games, even though the feedback I got from the training camp was pretty good. But um, coach kind of told me in the warm up of the first game that probably wasn't going to be in the rotation, but just to stay ready. So that was my mindset. Throughout the summer league, I was still in the hotel weight room most days, just whether it was activation or working out, and we were practicing out there as well. So yeah, just trying to stay as ready as possible. But I kind of knew going in that that was going to be the situation I was facing.
And talk us through checking in then for your debut.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Yeah, obviously having my family there to see it was really special, and definitely some nerves there where you're just trying to be relaxed as possible, and you know, you're not really thinking about it when you're in the moment, but then you can kind of reflect on it after. So yeah, it was definitely a cool experience.
What was it like seeing a couple of other Irish basketball diehards make the trip over?
It was cool. Yeah, it was funny. Ronan Cregan. He I hadn't seen in years, but obviously I was really good mates with him. Going back to Irish under 15 team is when we first became friends, and then played with each other on the under 18 team as well. I think that might have been the last time I saw him. Like we were talking about it, we met up for dinner a few times in Vegas, and we were talking about like, sure, it hasn't been that long, but yeah, I was joking with him that he couldn't come up to Belfast to see me, but he could go out to Las Vegas. So no, it was great to catch up with him, and then a few other people made the trip out as well. So yeah, that was definitely special.
Yeah. Maisie had a really good question. She wanted to know how did you stay calm during your, because you came in and there's two brilliant clips. One of your first basket, you're like so composed going up contested layup. Second clip is you're going through the lane, kind of your footwork again. You're nearly telling the guy in the wing where to go with your eyes. You're like, get over there, and you pass him, and I think he makes three. How do you stay calm in the middle of that?
Um, yeah, like when I got in that second game when I scored the basket, I think just it was pretty early on. Just checked in, got a steal, and then I was coming down the court and was kind of almost looking for someone to pass to, like just driving down the lane and try and make the defense collapse. But I just kind of kept going all the way to the basket and made the layup. Like I was joking with the Quins were joking with me. They said if we had there were any bets on what your first summer league basket would look like, it was not going to be a coast to coast layup trying to get blocked by like two athletes coming down the lane. But that's how I went. So um, yeah, just try and just stay present, not thinking too much about it. Like it's easier said than done, of course, and I definitely could have done a better job with it in summer league, but yeah.
A really good question from Jason Clean. Just on the drills, like at the NBA level, he was talking about just how simple are they when you get to that elite level.
Uh, yeah, like the individual stuff we were doing, it's a lot of the same stuff. It's just the biggest difference for me was just the amount of bodies they have. Just to like, if you're doing a workout here, it's tough enough to get a gym in Ireland and get people to go in and rebound for you. But over there, you know, you pass to someone, you go down the lane, you've got a defender bumping you on the cut, and then you're coming off a pin down, you've got a guy chasing you, and then you've got two guys contesting you when you go to take a shot. Like just more bodies, more people available to put you through a workout and rebound and pass to you. So it's just a lot easier that way. But drills, like some of them are a bit more complex, but a lot of them are, like he said, just simple enough, just with more people putting you through them.
I think the point he was making was in Ireland, we think that, particularly at the NBA level or abroad, we've all these fancy things, but it's actually pretty generic stuff that you're doing, but just obviously easier to get gym access and a couple of extra people to rebound for you.
Yeah, that's all it comes down to sometimes. Like obviously, yeah, all the coaches are like really know their stuff and everything. Like all the player development people doing the workouts for you, but yeah, there's no secrets to success or making shots. It's just a lot of reps and going at game speed.
Owen wanted to know what's the most important aspect to work on for a small guard who wants to go pro?
Small guard, I think um, definitely the way it's going, being able to shoot it. Um, at a really good clip. Um, yeah, being able to shoot it, being able to take care of the ball, and being able to defend, and not being picked on with like mismatches and stuff like that. So I'd say those are the main three.
Mm. What's summer league finished? What was the conversations around leaving Vegas? I'm assuming you came back to Ireland then, was it?
Yeah, came back down and actually flew out the night like that night after our last game, so I was back home soon enough, and yeah, knew by that stage that I was kind of going to have probably an opportunity to head back out there, but things were still a bit up in the air at that stage. I was kind of a bit disappointed with how the summer league went. Thought I could have played a bit better, even though obviously scoring a basket and getting there was really cool. But just me being me, I was kind of more motivated probably coming out of summer league. Just knowing deep down that I could play at that level, even though it would be a challenge, but definitely motivated me to get back to work pretty soon.
Did it help you realize that I belong here? Being able to be at that level, or are you still working on that?
I'm still working on that, but I think that's more with with me rather than the competition. Like I think, obviously playing in the training camp and stuff, and like I did well out there, and so I definitely know that I can compete against those guys. It's just a matter of you know, really believing it and going in with that attitude every day. Like it's kind of funny. Like here in Ireland, yeah, people tend to be more self-deprecating, and kind of your friends are all keeping you humble and grounded. Whereas over there, everyone seems to, no one lacks confidence over there. It seems so they're all going into whatever situation thinking that they're the man. So I think there's a lot to be said for having that kind of attitude, especially in high level like elite sports. You have to go in with that mindset. So that's something I'm still working on. But yeah, I know that when I'm playing at my best, I can compete at that level.
When we talked about your greatest strength, I could probably nearly put your mentality and the standard that you expect yourself as nearly number one, because you've raised the bar for Irish basketball, but in your own head you're not even you've raised that bar internally. So that's probably another motivating factor for yourself, is just that standard that you expect, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Just trying to get better every day and with each season. Just when I was talking to my dad there watching some of the Irish underage games going on at the minute, like back in under 16, and just you know, with the downtime, just going back and watching yourself at that level under 16, you're like, wow, I wasn't very good back then. So just being able to see the jumps that you've made since then, and seeing that you've got better, that's a big kind of driver for me.
I'm not going to let
And
you say I'm not going to let you say you weren't that good. You set like a record of 3 pointers in the arena. Like that's not that good.
well, yeah, the context is important. Like, yeah, you know what I mean. Just seeing that you've got better year to year, and yeah, that's yeah.
Amazing. In terms of what you learned from the summer league and what you're working on at the moment, what are you currently improving on your game?
Me and my dad put the NBA three-point line tape down in Somalis the other day, so still adjusting to that. Got the NBA ball in, so a lot of reps up with that. And just trying to, like I said, become a knockdown three-point shooter at that level is important for smaller, less athletic guards like myself. And then defensively as well, trying to 1v1 and ball screen stuff, trying to defeat ball screens. Um, those have been two areas we've been working on.
And you're still showing up to New Forge summer scrimmage and giving them buckets.
Yeah, I gotta get up and down their stage. So a bit different to training camp in Minnesota, but it's still he's got a lot of good players here. Being back here and competing against lads you grew up playing against.
Maisie had another brilliant question. What advice would you give to kids listening that on chasing their dream?
Yeah, just go for it. I mean, I didn't like we were talking about. I didn't know if I was going to go to America. I had college basketball in the first place, and now I'm getting ready to go back out for a training camp with the Timberwolves. So no matter how crazy it sounds, hard, believe in yourself and just do it. Like the Nike slogan goes. I didn't think I'd be in this position at all, but never know what can happen, and ask questions along the way. Just enjoy it as much as you can. Enjoy the process of getting better and working towards that goal or that dream, whatever it is.
If I was to go back to when we last recorded, I remember that day actually quite well. What would you say now if we added CJ at Winchendon into the Zoom call? What would you say to him?
If I was me now talking back to the Winchendon CJ,
Yeah.
um, work on your vertigo, get stronger, get more athletic. I don't think I would change much, to be honest, in the last 4 years. Like I was working hard back then, and I haven't really changed much in my approach, to be fair. So tell them just to enjoy the process and get too bogged down and overthinking everything and all the time being worried about getting better and all that kind of stuff. Just enjoy it as much as you can.
You've hinted at it there. There's a question on everyone's lips at the moment. Where is CJ Fulton going next?
Yeah, so the plan is to head back out to Minnesota in September here for the preseason training camp, and then after that we'll see what happens. Probably G League, but we don't know yet. So kind of still a bit up in the air. But the plan is to head back out there in September and go to training camp. Try and just enjoy that experience, learn as much as I can, soak everything up, and take it from there.
Liam wanted to know, where do you see yourself in 5 years, CJ?
Hopefully playing at the highest level possible, whether that's in America or in Europe. Just hopefully 5 years I'll be 28. Hopefully I'm in my prime. You would hope at that stage. So if I was playing at the highest level in Europe, that would be great. If it's NBA or whatever. So yeah.
Amazing. I want a quick word. The Irish senior men's team, I think this is our golden era. Just your thoughts on the Irish team and where we're going with it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of talent coming through in college at the minute, and guys kind of making their way out of college. And yeah, it's definitely an opportunity for us to push on that. I think if we get everyone available and definitely got a chance to make a push and start to compete and win games against some of the bigger countries in Europe. That has to be our goal.
Yeah, 100%. Well, CJ, look, best of luck with everything. Thanks a million for your time, and looking forward to watch wherever you end up.
Thanks very much.